This episode of Is This Adulting is brought to you by our Patreon supporters. If you'd like to become a Patreon supporter, click on the Support the Show tab on our website, isthisadultingpod.com, or visit patreon.com/isthisadulting. Thanks.
Hi, this is your best friend Austin from Rocky Mountain National Park in Colorado, and you're listening to Is This Adulting?
Hey everybody, and welcome to Is This Adulting, a weekly conversation between two best friends navigating adulthood and our struggles with mental health as overgrown man-children. I'm best friend number one, Stephen Pappas, who is very fed up with best friend number two because he's being very, very much a jerk about my radio voice, quote-unquote. Who are you?
Hello, I'm best friend number two, Christopher Grimmett. I about said my middle name. I should have said it, Christopher Tyler Grimmett. See, I don't know why you're so upset with me. I'm doing exactly what you asked. I said the full thing, my full name, everything.
For the first time ever, I had to call you out to get you to do it.
Maybe so. I just wanted you to, you clearly started this episode off super hot, so I want people to be like, man, why is he being so extreme? Best friend number two seems so nice and casual.
Seems so wonderful. What's wrong with this guy? Yeah.
Trying to deceive them.
I hate you. I don't hate you. I love you very deeply. Well, we're going to go ahead and jump in. This week, we are excited to welcome another guest to the show.
Someone that we love very deeply.
Yes, absolutely. We met at Podfest in Florida and became fast friends, especially the two of y'all just escaping from the large crowds together and spending time together. From the Sleep With Me podcast, a podcast I know Chris and I have both used over the last year, definitely for me, Drew Ackerman is here. Hey, Drew.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I'm hoping to become a best friend by the end of the show, and I'm excited to play Peacemaker for the first half of the show and bring your friendship back together.
It's not possible.
You're going to soothe us back into a friendship. What a beautiful thing.
You're both very good friends, and we're starting this podcast now on the right foot or the left foot or whichever foot we choose to walk
Drew,
with.
Don't do this because the problem is I've listened to you so much that I'm going to start falling asleep if you start doing that voice too much.
Don't do it. Don't. It's
not
worth it.
It's going to be the most boring episode if all of a sudden you hypnotize us to sleep. And then, then you could just make it another one of your episodes, even better. Then it won't be boring.
I'll try to keep it upbeat.
No, that's okay. It's okay.
Well, we're going to get into everything in just a second. But first, before we do, Drew, do you want to tell people where they can find you on the internet and or your home address?
Sure. The podcast is Sleep With Me, and wherever you consume podcasts, whether it's in Apple Podcasts or whatever app, if you just search for Sleep With Me, you can subscribe there. My website is sleepwithmepodcast.com, and the best place to get me is on Twitter at Dearest Scooter.
And I just want to say something for our listeners that may not know much about Sleep With Me. We're going to probably talk more about this, but right. I just want to do a quick plug for Drew, mainly just because we're going to talk about this later, but I've struggled a lot over the years with being able to sleep. And so what Drew does, just to be clear, because Sleep With Me has a wonderful double entendre, Drew is not just a man asking for people to... well, I'll keep it at that.
Now playing on Cinemax.
And you don't have to worry about Googling sleepwithme.com because it's not what it is. It's, and you can speak to it far better than I can, Drew, but he's telling you awesome just bedtime stories to be able to help you either go to sleep or at least if you're struggling with insomnia, just you have a companion, someone to be there with. I'm sure his newer podcast, Sleep With Me, but the other way, will be coming out sometime soon.
That has 0 listeners and 0 supporters.
I need you to know, Chris, you just told everyone to go to sleepwithme.com. I went to that. Definitely not the podcast.
No. Oh, no. Wait, tell me one more time what it is.
Sleepwithmepodcast.com.
Okay, everyone, please be concerned with going to sleepwithme.com.
Yes. Now that's in my Google search history. Thanks.
Your wife's gonna be like, "What?"
I've been trying to buy that, but I don't have enough money to pay the cost to get that URL.
Oh my gosh, that is So, everyone, please make sure that you don't go to the website I accidentally said.
Yes, please don't do that. Well, before we get into the mental health check-in, we want to finally, as always, thank our sponsor Blueberry for our new segment where one of us pitches the other a new podcast they've been thinking about recently. I still haven't changed it.
Yeah, why do you not change that? It's me.
It's always you pitching me a podcast. It's not even a new segment anymore. I'm very professional. So, Chris, hey, what's your idea this week?
Well, in honor of Blueberry, I've and in honor of our guest, I try if I can to find some ways to combine the two. And so, for some of us, true crime is a very interesting field of podcast. I mean, everyone is in, people love it, but for others of us, it can be a little too scary sometimes. It's not. If I need help going to sleep, I am definitely not going to be listening to a true crime because I'll be staying up all night, scared to death. However, I know how popular they are, and so I had to pay the piper, so to speak. I had to go where the money is, and I had to sell out by coming up with a true crime podcast. And but I wanted to make one that brought the true crime aspect in, but could make it more accessible for those of us who have a little bit more of a weaker constitution, so to speak.
Sure. And
what is the least scary thing that I can think of? And that somewhat reminds me of what Drew is doing, and that's children's books. And that's going to be a theme throughout this episode, but I decided that we're going to take popular stories from across time, and we're going to give it a little bit of a twist. We're going to make them true crime. Now, look, it's not going to be anything. God. It's not going to be anything too graphic or anything like that. But we're going to still keep it nice and sweet for the most part. But some small changes to bring some comedy and lighten it up for those scaredy pants out there. It's a podcast, guys, that I call Nursery Crimes.
That's a catchy title.
Thank you.
I'm not even laughing at that one. I'm like, all right.
Sometimes a pun is good when you don't even laugh; you just have respect for it, and I
do.
And I'm grateful that you both felt that way. So, Nursery Crimes, nice and simple,
amazing.
Right? You may not have as much confidence in what this next pun coming up is. I'm just going to warn you.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, for the first time, Chris, I usually say, well, that's an interesting idea. But for the first time, I'm like, all right, Chris, that could be a really fun idea. And I'm actually kind of into it. So you realize creating a podcast is not as simple as just recording a show and uploading an MP3, though, right?
Spit take. What did you say?
Did
you like that new comedy bit I just added?
I did. That was a funny goof. I
didn't have any more water, so I didn't know what to do.
Don't spit all over the microphone because we have to pay for those.
Spit take.
But to get the most out of your show, you're going to need a lot of help, Chris. Have you thought about hosting that's fast and reliable so you don't have issues week to week?
I don't know what that is, no.
Good. What about accurate download stats so you know what your numbers truly are?
I just assume I have 1 million downloads. That's what I would rather.
As do all podcasts.
Yes, I think
so. And you're going to need help with a website. Because at the end of the day, you want to focus your time and effort on creating more content, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what type of content should we be looking for with Nursery Rhymes? I'm scared to ask.
Not Nursery Rhymes. Say the correct name.
Nursery Crimes. Sorry.
Nursery Crimes.
Such a... Wow. That's your intro.
Oh, you were definitely doing the intro for me.
I'm auditioning here, yeah, for sure.
All right. So in the first season, we're going to take some popular stories, and the first one is going to be from my adolescence. Not so much childhood, but a little bit older, okay? Now, many people know of the powerful, life-changing story that is Atticus Finch and his daughter Scout, with the neighbor that they feared, Boo Radley, and the powerful lessons that it left us with, right? Well, I've decided I want to take the basic ideas from that and help alter it just slightly. So get ready for an homage to the past classic with my episode, To Grill a Mockingbird.
No.
It's a crime. It's a crime. That's why it's telling the story why you shouldn't do that.
Now you are stretching it because To Kill a Mockingbird is not a children's book.
I read it as when I was growing up.
That's fair. Okay.
Is it feathered or defeathered, the mockingbird? Because I would say it's a crime to grill a feathered mockingbird, but
okay, then I think we'll say feathered. I think that's the only thing.
I think grilling a mockingbird at all is illegal.
Yeah, it probably is. But that's why it fits Nursery Crimes. So
well, there you go. Well, Blueberry offers all of your podcasting needs, so you can focus on that. Everything from hosting all the way down to your own WordPress site.
Sorry, I'm just laughing at my own joke. Hey, Ted.
That tends to happen.
You got burgers or hot dogs over there? Neither. I got a mockingbird. Sorry.
All I could smell is burnt mockingbird.
Yeah, it does not smell good whatsoever. Anyway, keep going. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I'm just telling you about the cool WordPress site that you can have.
That sounds, you know what? That sounds exactly what I'm looking for because I heard everything that you said. But gosh darn it, what do I do if I've already started this wonderful project, Stephen?
I mean, you listen to the mini ads we've done and not do it immediately. Like I've told you a million times, but if you've already started this one, it's all good. Doesn't matter. If you've already got a podcast, or if you've always wanted to start your own, Blueberry can help you and you get your first month free in the process. Just head over to blueberry.com/BFF to get your first month free now. That's blueberry without the e's.com/BFF.
Wowee, that sure sounds exciting. But hey, although that's good and all, I've got a pretty loyal fan base. I'm trying to add some spice to it. But I don't want to lose any of my subscribers, Stephen. What do I do?
Is that adding spice? What do you call your subscribers, Chris?
Okay, this one you got to think a little bit about. I call them the crime babies. Crime babies. Does that work? Did you get that?
No.
Like I said, it was close enough where I wasn't sure, but I thought it was kind of funny. Most people don't say, hey, don't be a crybaby. I say the opposite. Our listener group, come on. Everyone wants a crime baby. See?
I could use a few. It sounds like the Oliver and his crew. They were kind of crime tots, so
I honestly think crime babies might be a separate podcast in itself, which I'm also very interested in.
I would watch or listen to an audio drama podcast of Oliver Twist that's set in modern day called Crime Babies.
Crime babies, if there's a mafia, it takes a whole new level to say hello to my little friend. It's literally just say hello to, I don't know, buddy.
I'm picturing
what's the name of a baby?
The Godfather, but baby form. So it's you come to me on this, the day of my own christening.
Yeah. Wasn't there the movie Boss Baby? So it could be Boss Baby
Boss
2,
Baby.
Crime Babies.
Oh my god.
They're all voiced by Alec Baldwin.
Even better. Not Godfather, God Baby. Oh, I like it.
There's a better one out there somewhere, but
There
we're going to
probably
come
is.
up with it.
Now, do I also want to say, maybe I'm going too far. Now I'm just imagining baby powder instead of the other powder that's used in that stuff. But we're going too far. Let's keep going.
That's a little. We're getting a little dark. Well, you're not going to lose any of your
apologize.
crime babies, Chris, because their support team can help you migrate your existing show with their free tools, and you're not going to lose a single subscriber.
Well, that's a relief, Stephen.
Yep. I mean, I'm sure it is. So you go ahead and get to work on nursery crimes or any other podcast idea you have today with Blueberry and get your first month free using our promo code BFF.
You said smirced,
We did it.
but we'll keep going.
I did say smirced. Thank you for pointing out my mistakes to the
You're
entire
welcome.
internet. So I'm really, really excited. Well, we're going to start this week off, just like we do every week, with a mental health check-in. So, Chris, how you been this week?
It's funny. Every single week that I end up having a good week, I come to you all, I share the exciting encouragement that, hey, I'm doing pretty well. And then guess what happens the rest of the week, gentlemen?
It's not so good.
It's like I have honestly jinxed myself. That is what kind of happened last week. So I was on vacation. I was seeing some very, very wonderful, some of me and my wife's closest friends. We were excited to see them. I was doing great. I had gone and done some traveling, and travel can always be anxious, or create some anxiety. So I was worried about that, but I handled it really well. And then I had a good week, but I realized that this is the first time I've had an extended period of time where I didn't have a vacation where a lot of things were planned. So I was able to sleep in a lot, which is good. I mean, this sounds negative, but I started recognizing how tired I was. And more importantly, how burnt out I had kind of become.
Right.
And because of that, I started it's amazing how sometimes once you've had some rest, you start then addressing, your body has clearly told you something that you've needed this, and then you have to start thinking about, wait, why is my body telling me this? And then you have to deal with some feelings that you prefer to not deal with. And so I kind of wrestled with a lot of that, where there's just been a lot of pain that I thought I'd maybe kind of gotten past from previous jobs, from previous relationships that had kind of been toxic, and I'm just realizing that there have they have really left some wounds that that I just have not been dealing with. And I mean, just finding myself anxious again, crying, not expecting it. But so it sounds really bad. But I will say I actually am really grateful for it, because it's been so long since I've had time to really just force myself to have to process, because I don't have anything to do, that I really feel like I've kind of, I'm not going to say I've come out of it, because there's still tons of healing, but I kind of got over the initial anxiety of confronting it. And so I feel like now I'm starting to process it some. And the last couple of days have actually been much better. I felt more like myself than I felt in a really long time. When I mean a long time, I mean, I might even say in the last like 2 years, I felt more like myself in these last couple of days. And I've been finding myself with energy that I wasn't having, and not necessarily like rest energy, but just not so burdened with anxiety or depression, like have more of a positive outlook. And so I know I'm saying a lot, but it's been a hard week that's been really, really roller coastery. But sometimes, I mean, they talk about like sometimes you have to hit rock bottom, so to speak, before you can go. Like, I'm not even necessarily saying it's that, but I feel like I went through a whirlwind of emotions, and I'm better because of it. And I feel like I'm going to be able to start my next stage of healing, because I think at the end of the day, we're never done healing. We're just always learning to cope and adapt better, right, than we were before. And so I feel like I've entered a new stage, which I'm excited about. And who knows, maybe next week, I'm talking a big game now, and then it goes back to how it's been. But and if that's the case, then I have to be okay with that. I'm just really grateful for this week that I've been on, and I feel that my body has finally made me listen, and I'm really grateful for it. So in the end, I've been encouraged. So that was a very long mental health check-in, but thank you both for listening so attentively. I really appreciate it. It's always encouraging to let someone listen as you're processing something out.
Absolutely.
So, Drew, for you, how have you been, man?
Well, it's good you listen to your body too. Like, I think there's a lot of secret messages, or maybe they're not so secret, that we don't listen to. So,
right.
Yeah.
It's interesting how you talked about in your check-in, like making some space, because that's kind of what I've been dealing with over the last week or two is, I don't know, I was trying to find more ways to connect with my own feelings and be more empathetic to other people's feelings. And I was like, man, how am I going to do this? And I realized I hadn't been journaling for a long time. And so my first question was like, well, are you going to do this, or are you going to like journal for one night and then not journal again? And so for the past 2 weeks, I've been trying to do a little journaling in the morning and at night, like right when I wake up and right before I go to bed. And it's been good, and it's been good to carve out that space. But what carving out that space has meant, like similar to you, is like facing some things. And just for me, it's like realizing how much time I spend in either anxiety during the day or running around putting out these fires that my anxiety is telling me, oh, no, you got to go over here and put this fire out. Oh, no, you got to go over here and do that. And how much energy I'm expending. And then just realizing that underlying all that, at least for me, is like this feeling of fear or of doom or of dread, and that it's just kind of, at least currently, and it's been this way in my life for a long time, but just that's like an underlying thing that's always there behind the scenes, kind of working and kind of trying to influence me, or influences a lot of my decisions. And like you said, I think it's like, it's not a good or a bad thing. It's like, okay, like maybe I have to try to find some more time in the day to center myself, instead of just being influenced by these automatic processes and this kind of belief system that a big part of me has, that things don't, like that bad things happen or whatever. So it's been interesting, and it's like always good, I think, for me at least, to be like, oh, I followed through on this on 4 nights in a row or 5 nights in a row. And then, so it's like, oh, am I going to keep doing this? Am I going to keep kind of doing some things that are geared towards the healing process, like you're saying? So I guess that's where I'm at right now.
That's awesome. And, it's funny. Journaling is always something for me. that I tell myself, oh, nah, I'm fine not doing it. Then whenever I do it, I'm almost frustrated with myself of being like, why am I not doing this more? Because I don't know if this has been the case for you, but it's interesting that for whatever reason, writing things down, sometimes as you're writing, you either go, I didn't realize I was even thinking that. It's amazing how it just can come out. Like, we're afraid to admit it, saying it out loud, or saying it out loud in our head, if that makes sense. But for some reason, writing it down, all of a sudden it's there, and it can be a transportive thing of like, holy crap, that's on the paper, and now I have to acknowledge that that's a feeling that I've had. So I'm super excited for you. That makes me want to force myself to, as I'm trying to work on these new habits, to include that, because that practice has always been something that I don't give enough credit until I do it. So awesome, man. Congratulations. You said 4 nights in a row?
I think I've been doing it for 2. Like, I'm just trying to keep doing it, but then it does become something that you're like, oh man, I'm tired. Like, or this is kind of becoming a chore. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
Well, I'm proud that you've gotten that. Sometimes just doing it the first couple of days is the hardest part. So well done. Mm-hmm. All right, Steven, how about you, man? How you been?
To borrow a quote out of your book instead of my own this week, your boy's not been doing good.
Oh, no, that sucks, man. I'm sorry.
Nah, I mean, it is what it is. I've been super high anxiety lately. Like, super high. Like, really, really stressed. Like, I've had more panic attacks in the last week, 3 or 4, actually, this week. Whereas I was having 1 a month, maybe. So I've had 3 or 4 in the last week, and it's just been an insane amount of stress. Some folks in our group know my computer died last week, right after we recorded our last episode. And so I had the stress of having to bear the wonderful financial burden of buying a new one.
Yeah.
And I just had a lot of stuff like that kind of going on this week, where it was like, okay. And then all of a sudden, my way of coping with that, of course, is to, in a anxious stupor at 2:30 in the morning when I can't sleep, go on Amazon and just buy a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And so that just piles on top of it. So it's this like never ending cycle. But, the last few nights have been particularly bad, and the days. But at the same time, I have this weird feeling inside me that is like good. Like, it's really odd, because I've had a lot of like bad stress going on lately, but I also have these moments of just like content feelings and confident feelings. I was walking out of a coffee shop the other day, the Brakeman's in downtown Matthews, where we had our meetup, and I was just walking through the back gravel parking lot. There's all these trees. It's just a nice little area of town, and I was walking out of the back of it, and like, it's like 65 degrees outside. It was like a perfect day, sunny. And I just kind of stopped for a second. And without even realizing I was doing it, like, I closed my eyes and I just let out this huge, like, and I was just like so content in that moment of just like, with my life, with everything I've got going on. I felt confident. I felt good. And those are not words you hear me use a lot.
Yeah.
Confident specifically.
I know. I'm very surprised.
Yeah, and I've just, the last week, even in the face of all this stress, I've had this feeling of like, specifically, I know listeners and people in our Facebook group, and you, Chris, know one of my biggest stresses is this show. And not in a bad way, like, oh, I hate doing that. I love doing this show. But it's, how will I make this show successful on a business like level? But this week, as much as I've been stressed about that, I've also had this kind of peace about it. Like, we're going to do this. And we're going to tear it up, whether we think we're going to or not. Like, I'm feeling good. Maybe that is hubris. Maybe that is just like confidence to a bad extent. But I feel really confident in myself for the first time in a long time. And it's got me eating better. I got back into running a little bit this week. Not much.
Nice,
just
man.
A little bit. But it's a slow start back. But like, I'm doing the things, I'm organizing things, I'm making a calendar, I have motivation for the first time in probably 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
That's great.
And so like, I'm good, but I'm not good. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It seems like we've all had like out of nowhere, just this random inspiration of motivation to like do some things, which that's encouraging. Look at us.
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
always
the
the first
confidence.
step.
Yeah, and so it's just getting back into it that's going to be tough. But I'm determined to make this thing work. So be it my health or our business or whatever.
Let's say that we're your motivation boys. And so anyone who's listening out there, if you know those, what is it like in the movies? There's like the angel and the devil on your shoulder or whatever. I want you to imagine all three of us just on one side of your shoulder, whispering motivations. That could be creepier than intended, but I mean that well.
You're one on each shoulder, and I'm just, if you wear glasses, I'm hanging from the rim like it's a jungle
I like
gym.
that. I
just
like
hanging
that.
out. If you've got really long hair, I'm just climbing up that, talking to you, whispering, "Hey, you can do it," in your ear. Yeah. And if you don't have glasses or long hair, I'm just chilling on the eyebrow.
I like that. I'm on the other end, where I'm just like poking your earlobe, wondering, why are earlobes a thing? They are so weird. Have you ever thought about that? They're a different conversation. Useless. But they're really strange. So that's what I'm doing. Drew, what are you doing on people's shoulders?
I want a Motivation Boys T-shirt. I would think I would wear that everywhere.
It's just Drew like sitting nicely on the shoulder giving advice, and then us being obnoxious. You're poking them, telling them they can do it, but also kind of like, I'm not touching you.
Yeah, it'd be I could get one of those professor jackets with the leather patches on the elbow, and I could be like sitting there, like, yes, look at the trees.
You would look so stoic in that, man. Well done. That's a thing. The Motivation Boys. I like it.
Motivation Boys. That's us. All right.
There's next week's podcast for the pitch.
There we go. Motivation Boys.
Motivation Boys.
It's like Shark Tank, but much nicer.
Oh my gosh. Well, as always, if you have a mental health check-in you'd like to share or an idea of how we can encourage you throughout your week, I'll remind you, as always, we're not professionals. But you can email us over at isthisadultingpod@gmail.com. All right. It's time for the first topic. And Chris,
yeah,
I understand you're very excited about this one.
Yeah, so for many people right now, they're excited because they're in sports. There's this thing called March Madness, where a lot of college basketball teams, both men and women, have this, to where there are like 68 teams or something altogether, and there's this crazy, with the play-in games. That's what.
Yeah, I was like, no, there's 64. Okay, I'm with you.
And it's pretty much like everyone plays a game, and if you lose one game, you go home, and they just keep doing that in a bracket until it's the final. And
I would like to take a moment real quick.
Okay.
I know we don't have. We have sports fans that listen. I know we also have people who don't care about sports. I would like to offer, and I mean this legitimately, my deepest condolences to Christopher Tyler Grimmett.
Oh,
his team.
You're being mean.
I'm not being mean. You know I root for your team.
Oh, I thought you were picking on me.
No, your team went home like in the second round, which sucks. Yeah, so I feel bad for you because I know you feel very deeply about that.
It was an embarrassing showing, but the idea of brackets, I've always really liked it, and we did this.
What's your team?
My team. Sorry, I'm sorry. So I'm from North Carolina, and so because of that, the North Carolina Tar Heels is my team. It's a weird name, I know, Tar Heels, but that's the reality of what team I cheer for. So, but it's okay. Hey, we won the championship last year. That's true. So that's what's important. So the thing I like about March Madness, though, is I really love brackets, and I love the idea of it not just being teams, because not everyone likes sports, and that's totally fine. So I wanted to take that bracket idea, and I wanted us to do a similar type of competitive thing. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to do it with something that what kind of reminded me of you, Drew, and that was, again, with stories. And so that's why I kind of came with a podcast idea, and the same thing is I want us to be thinking about popular children's books. And when I mean that, it can be from a young age all the way up through like just adolescence, that are very popular, different genres, different styles. It's hard to compare these two, but that's what I'm really excited about doing. And the way I did this, so I have, there are 24, but the way I did this was I have our like play-in. A bunch of people were given buys, to be able to make it easier, because some of these are just so good. They're gonna dominate the first round, so it's not even fair. So that's why I want to kind of do this. So are y'all ready to do this? And the way that we're gonna work is I'm gonna read some out. I try to find a different popular list. If you don't know what it is, we can explain it to you. If we're in disagreement, it'll just be majority rules. That's how we'll kind of do it. All right.
And I do think we probably shouldn't wax poetic on all of them until maybe the final four.
I agree.
Or else I
agree.
don't think we're going to get through this bracket and a game and a topic.
I think that's a great idea. So this is what we'll do. We'll keep it pretty short and sweet for the first couple, and kind of go from there. So, gentlemen, are you ready for our version of March Madness? Or Drew, what did you call it again? Book
I don't
Madness?
remember.
Something like that?
I don't know, but if I don't like how this turns out, my crime babies are going to come for you. So,
oh, my gosh.
It'll be a big case of March sadness, if you will.
Oh, March sadness. That's nice. I like that. All right. So we're going to start first round, nice and simple. Two very but this is a hard first round. Are we going with Curious George or Where the Wild Things Are?
Oh, boy.
That's a hard one, but you have to vote. You have different there's a lot of things that are great about both of them, but you just have to go with your gut. We're going to take a vote. Drew, what are you thinking?
That's real tough, but
it's a hard first
both those
one.
books had a big impact on me, but I have to go with as far as classics, I think Where the Wild Things Are wins out over Curious George, but I have a big love for Curious. Sorry, George.
No, I understand.
But
you just weren't
and the
curious
man in the yellow hat.
Mm-hmm.
George is listening like, oh.
He's like, I'll never sleep with you now. Sorry, that's bad. Steven, so for you, are we doing Where the Wild Things Are, or are we doing Curious George?
Where the Wild Things Are advances.
Yep,
that's not even a question for me.
Yeah, and I understand. I also struggle with that, but at the end of the day, I get it. So I went back and forth. I was going to say Curious George just because there's so many more Curious George. That's why I end up reluctantly going with that, but I understand. All right, here's the next one. These are two different ones. There's the classic. There's Goodnight Moon from back in the old days that you've seen 1,000 times. Or we're going with an emotional one, and that's Shiloh. The incredibly sad story of the beagle that broke all of our hearts. So they're both emotional in different ways. We've probably both cried at both of them. So which one are you going off your gut, Drew?
This one I have to go with Goodnight Moon because it's so weird.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I'm going Goodnight Moon as well. Steven, is that what you're doing?
Also Goodnight Moon. I don't want to ever read Shiloh again.
Shiloh sucked.
Put Shiloh down.
It made me very sad. I know, it made me...
Hi, Shiloh.
Out of nowhere, Drew and his crime babies come out there just to destroy poor Shiloh. All right, so we'll keep going. So the
Good
next
night,
one,
Shiloh.
all right, so the next two, these are these are. I picked a few specifically from that were from my childhood that I had a special place. So I apologize if people don't know. We'll make sure we explain for everybody. But here are the two that we're going with. One was recently made into a movie, and that's Captain Underpants, where it's just a crime-fighting man who sometimes, how do we even explain? He just didn't realize he kind of goes a little bit, he kind of changes personality to some degree and kind of becomes this awesome crime-fighting dude that's just in his underwear, and it's pretty hilarious. So there's Captain Underpants, or there is Animorphs. Animorphs is the story of a bunch of children who. Here's the best way to describe it.
They're basically animaguses from Harry Potter.
They morph into animals, but my favorite one of all time is the one where it just it is a picture from a small boy that morphs into an older man, and I'm like, how is that not called puberty? This is not Animorphs. So are you going with Animorphs, or are you going with Captain Underpants? Steven, we'll start with you this time.
Oh, Animorphs, 100%. I never read Captain Underpants as a kid, so.
Oh, wow, okay.
Animorphs I was way into, though.
All right, so Drew, how about you?
Well, this is a loaded question for me because Animorphs scare me for the whole concept of animorphing. I think I've had nightmares about it.
Me too.
And then when I was in grammar school, my school had a hat day one day where it was like, wear a wild hat. And I don't know what possessed me to do this, but I made a hat and I put tighty whities on it and I wore it to school. And then I
love it.
And I got in detention for it. So
oh no!
Sure.
So I have a thing
Drew's
for
a bad
underpants,
boy.
I guess. Yeah,
So-
bad boy with my dad's underwear on my
So
head.
are you going? Are you going?
Who's your dad?
All the crime babies. By the way, all the crime babies have just tidy whities on their head. We're making that slowly into fiction. So you going Captain Underpants?
Yeah, I guess I have to because I share underpants.
Y'all, this is so easy for me, and it's funny. It's a very similar thing. Animorphs always freaked me out. I never liked them. Captain Underpants was one of my favorite books of all time. So without a doubt, Captain Underpants is going to take it for me. So the next one, these are a little bit more old school from like the 50s and 60s, but were popular. They have continued to be popular. First one, Amelia Bedelia. If anyone who doesn't know Amelia Bedelia, it's the equivalent of like Mr. Magoo. This woman is really funny. She just doesn't understand like language very well and constantly.
This garbage Amelia Bedelia that the kids have now, where she's like a teenage girl and it has nothing to do with the original Amelia Bedelia stories. Yeah, Amelia Bedelia now is not what it used to be.
Oh my gosh, no. I'm talking about old school Amelia Bedelia, which they were always super funny because she would misunderstand words and she would like the technical term, which I remember this from AP English. It's the only thing I remember from AP English is malaprop, and that's where you mistake one word for another word, and that's because I do that all the time, and so that's why I was super excited. And so Amelia Bedelia was like she was like my like soul sister in many ways. And the other one is the Boxcar Children, if you remember that, where it's a bunch of children solving crimes. So you going Amelia Bedelia or Boxcar Children? This is a hard one.
I think you're up first now.
Oh yeah, it's me. Oh god, this is hard.
Yeah, you have to make this decision.
I will say I loved the Boxcar Children, but just because the Amelia Bedelia was so funny, and both of them had tons of books, so that's what's cool about them. There wasn't just one. But I'm gonna have to go with Amelia Bedelia, even though that hurts my heart because I love the Boxcar Children. Steven, how about you?
It's the Boxcar Children for me.
Ooh, so it comes down to Drew. Which way we're going? I
love those kids.
I understand.
Oh, this is a tough one. I mean, I feel like, because I have dyslexia, so I feel the Amelia Bedelia love, and I like saying Amelia Bedelia, or Amelia Bedelia. But my daughter, I feel like, well, is she like kind of like a Mary Poppins ripoff, or so? And then I feel like the Boxcar Children. I've seen that more recently popular as when I used to work in the library. So I got to go with Boxcar. Anytime, crime babies and Boxcar Children, they seem like they could go together. We could recruit the Boxcar Children for crime.
It is even better
to do crime.
It's such a good choice. I mean, I reluctantly picked Amelia Bedelia, but I love them both, so that's all right. So, all right, here's the next one. These are similar ones. This is either Lemony Snicket or Goosebumps. So they're both kind of similar, eerie type of. They're different, but they also have like the same type of like eerie type of thing. So, Steven, how about we go with you? What are you going with?
Goosebumps. I've never read a Lemony Snicket book.
Okay, all right. Yeah. So how about you, Drew? What are you going with?
Yeah, I think I'm in the same. I think Daniel Handler is super cool. But I just I've never had a chance to read a Lemony Snicket book. And I feel like Goosebumps has got that, like, it's like almost edgy. It's your first introduction to something edgy as a kid. So it's like a gateway to so I got to go with Goosebumps.
Yeah. And I had tons of Goosebumps, but it scared me so bad that, I will reluctantly accept that, but it makes me very sad sometimes to think of how scared that constantly made me. All right, here's the next one. This round, both of them start with the word "the." That's the only commonality they have, and that's either The Giver, the story of almost like a
kind of like a dystopian Messiah style, like something.
It's like a different type of society all the way around, but there's a lot of really amazing, beautiful imagery in it. And it's probably as a kid, probably one of your first deeper books that you kind of read. It's usually required in a lot of schools. Or, kind of the opposite, The Cat in the Hat. So, I know, they're very, very different. But, hey, we had to compete with them at some point. So, Drew, why don't we start with you? Steven, I don't think, it seems from your reaction that you don't know The Giver. Is that true?
No, Katie's tried to get me to read it for years. I've just never picked it up.
It is a phenomenal book. I will tell you that.
I do like dystopian stories, so like.
So I guess you have to pick Cat in the Hat just from.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I have to pick Cat in the Hat. So
how about you, Drew?
Well, I was in the same boat as Steve until like a year ago. I'd never read The Giver, and people were always like, "Oh, you got to read this book." So I just read it recently as an adult, and I do recommend it. So I think you'll like it, Steven.
Yes, it's really good.
I got to give it to Cat in the Hat just because the Cat in the Hat was like, yeah, you got to have some Seuss. I mean, what's a life without Seuss?
Oh yeah,
I
got you.
The Cat in the Hat's no Lorax, but I'm just saying.
All right, no problem. All right, so here's the next one. This is what I call the bear round. Are you ready? Are we going Berenstain Bears or are we going corduroy? Very different types. Berenstain Bears is a bunch. It's a whole family of bears. You learn all types of lessons, do fun things. Corduroy is more of like I don't know, just like a good-hearted but sad and also happy story of a little teddy bear. I guess that's the best way of doing it. So, Steven, what are you thinking?
I'm surprised how fast I'm making these decisions. Definitely corduroy for me. You know, Berenstain Bears, there's just too much to unpack there with the Mandela effect. And what is it, Berenstein or Berenstain? Are we living in an alternate universe? I can't be thinking about that. So I'm just going to go with corduroy. He's simple. There's nothing scary or stressful or alternate dimension-y about corduroy. So yeah, I got to go with that.
All right, Drew, how about you?
Yeah, I have to go with the Berenstain Bears because aspirationally, like I always thought brother and sister were so cool. Like I literally remember fantasizing like one day I'll be as cool as these two fantasy bears. Like when I go to grammar school, it's going to be just like this. It didn't work out
so
that way, but
that's what we're going to whisper
cool.
in people's ears as motivational boys. You can be as cool as the Berenstain Bears, we promise. So I am. This is interesting because growing up, one of my favorite books was Corduroy. However, it has to be the Berenstain Bears for me for so many different reasons. There's so many of them. They're great. I don't even know how to explain. It's just
you're creating a hellish alternate world.
Just Berenstain Bears are amazing, and so that's why I have to go with them. All right, and here's the last one of the before we get into the rounds of new ones that you haven't seen yet. Are we going The Outsiders? Or are we going Charlotte's Web? So, as a reminder, The Outsiders is like a story from, it's like the 50s, 60s or something like that, right? It's I don't even know how to really explain it in a simple, but one of the best parts is Pony Boy is one of the characters.
Pony Boy and Soda Pop Curtis.
Yeah, and Soda Pop Curtis. It's if you haven't read it, read it. It's a really good story. There are very different types of stories though. So I'm going to go and vote first this time. For me, both are great stories, but it's not even close. I'm going with Pony Boy all day long. The Pony Boy Express is what train I want to be on. So Stephen, how about you?
Oh, we're staying gold, Pony Boy. It's Outsiders all the way. The Outsiders is one of my favorite books.
Great.
Still, even as an adult, I love that book.
All right, it looks like we're doing clean sweep, Drew.
Yeah, like I think that's just like that is a classic. Like it's such a classic book. I mean, Charlotte's Web is great, and but there's way more humanity in The Outsiders, and way more like and 100%. Pony Boy, Soda Pop.
Right,
I forget.
Yes, Soda Pop Curtis. What a great
Pony
name,
Boy Curtis.
All right, y'all. This is where we start getting fun because now we're bringing in some of the big guns to go against what have already been some pretty big guns. Are you ready for this? So the first one, we're now going with Where the Wild Things Are, or the first Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. That is a hard.
Ouch.
That is a hard next round to be doing, but you gotta
is that
go.
The only Harry Potter book on the list.
To make it fair, I didn't do
Good
multiple.
question.
I just did the first Harry Potter. Just I mean that in itself could have swept if we just put 7, all the books in there. So I just decided to go with the first one since that was the one that started the thing out. And the first one was also kind of controversial in some ways because a lot of people really hate the first couple chapters. I think I just wanted to kind of do that. So Where the Wild Things Are, or Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Steven, you got to pick. Which one?
It's surprisingly easier than I thought. I love Where the Wild Things Are so much, but there's got to be a Harry Potter book in the running. It's Harry Potter. I don't care if people don't like the first few chapters. I mean, the first chapter hooked me immediately, of just like this story. It didn't hook me till later in life, when I was probably like, I don't know, 15 when I started reading them. But like, it was great. So no, yeah, Harry Potter all the way.
All right. How about you, Drew?
Yeah, I love Where the Wild Things Are, but I mean, and thinking about it from a podcaster's perspective, particularly how J.K. Rowling wrote these books. I mean, wrote the first book on the way to work and on the way home from work, and I just take so much inspiration in that, and how it's become this pop culture. It's just become a big part of the last 15, 20 years. So, I have to go with Harry Potter.
And for me, I want to take Where the Wild Things Are, and I want to pull it aside, and I want to say, you've been great.
Are you going to be a motivation boy for
No,
Where
the Wild Things Are? I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to pull it aside. I'm going to say, you've been great, but Avada, get the hell out of here, because all I want is Harry Potter. So I'm in the same boat as you. All right, so the next one. All right, here we go. A new one that is throwing off the brackets is: are we going with Goodnight Moon, or are we bringing in Holes? The wonderful story of Holes. Of there's so many things about the kids who are sent to this horrible camp to literally just dig holes in the desert, and all these crazy things happen, and it eventually was made to a movie, but it was like a bestseller for
the one with the holes in
forever.
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, kind of.
That's the Holes. The book is
Yeah, pretty much.
Sorry, I was making a psych reference.
Yeah, so Steven, since you made the joke, you will begin. Are you going with Goodnight Moon, or are you going with Holes?
Goodnight Moon.
All right.
Yeah, I like Holes. I don't have any bad anything against Holes, but Goodnight Moon's it's the children's book that I think of when I think of children's books.
That's fair.
So yeah.
That's fair. All right, Drew, for you.
This is a tough one, just because I think that's a really good book to recommend to a certain age group, is Holes, and I feel like a strong thing. But then I think about Shia and it's okay,
He's tainted it.
Yeah, I'm okay, oh boy. Then also I think about the podcast and how Goodnight Moon. I don't know. I think we just need a quirky children's book going forward. So I'm going to say Goodnight Moon too.
All right, I understand. And believe me, I was going to pick Holes just because it was one of my favorite books, but I think you make a good point about how Shia kind of single-handedly makes Goodnight Moon win if nothing else does. So that's all right. So Goodnight Moon advances. All right, to the next round. Are we going with Captain Underpants, or are we doing The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe?
Chris, we said we wouldn't get religious on this podcast.
It's a super popular children's book. What am I supposed to do?
I'm just joking.
So Drew, we're going to start with you. Are you going Captain Underpants, or are you going kind of the opposite from a standpoint of very serious, but has a lot of extra meanings? When Captain Underpants, I think, is pretty cut and dry.
This is a tough one. I'd go with the goofy side of Captain Underpants, or the nurturing of the imagination. I think with The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, maybe the whole thing is mixed, but the idea that you could get in a wardrobe and go to another world, that, even just because I don't even know if I read the whole book or just that part when I was a kid, and it just I'd be constantly getting in closets from there on forward. So I guess I got to go with The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Just constantly walking and be like, dang it, this isn't the winter. Dang it.
This isn't the one.
Yeah, where's that dude with the hooves?
Yeah. Steven, how about you?
Sorry, I just had a mental image of somebody's uncle coming in hooves, I'm right here. Sorry, it's not good. Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Again, like I said, first round, I've never read Captain Underpants, so I can't really vote for it.
I guess
two,
that's true.
Even if I had, I have a feeling I would pick this because I'm a fantasy, person. So
it's fine. I would have picked Captain Underpants just because I love it so much. This is a super small story, but one of my most enjoyable memories was when there would always be the book fair at school, and I remember every time the book fair came around, there'd be a new not episode, but a new what am I trying to say? Book of Captain Underpants, and I remember just running with excitement it's been a long time since like I've been able to just run towards a book with excitement, and I just have a lot of really fond memories of that. So although it doesn't win, hey, you know what? Pour one out for Captain Underpants. That's what I say. Next one. All right, we're now. Are we going to go with the Boxcar Children, or are we going to do Green Eggs and Ham? Both classics in different ways. Which are you going with? I'll start since last time I picked Amelia Bedelia. I love Green Eggs and Ham, and I love Boxcar Children, and simply just because I associate this one more with my childhood than the other, even though I do both. I associate Green Eggs and Ham as one of the most iconic books as a child that I read all the time. And I still think about it a lot of times if I see eggs or if I see ham. I'll be honest with you. A lot of times I see the food, I just think about the book. So that's why I'm going to have to go with that one. Drew, which one are you thinking?
Yeah, I got to go with Green Eggs and Ham. It's just so fun. And actually it's like interesting from a mental health perspective, because it's really like this this conflict-laden interaction where he's like, hell no, I'm not trying it. He's like, can you be open-minded? He's like, hell no, I'm not open-minded about these green eggs and ham. And then it goes on this whole journey to resolution. So I think
I like it.
Yeah, and because I can be a curmudgeon sometimes. I'm like, okay, like let's be open-minded and try this green eggs and ham. Could you? Well, no, not today, but maybe tomorrow. I'll think about it. I like it.
Hey, that's a cool idea. I didn't even think about it from that perspective. Well done. Steven, are you with us, or are you still wanting Boxcar?
No, I'm with you. I mean, if I pick Cat in the Hat, Green Eggs and Ham is a superior Seuss book, so.
Good. All right. Yeah. So I think this one's not going to be that hard. This is a heavyweight. So are we going with Goosebumps, or are we going with The Hobbit? At least for me, I know where I'm going, and I'm going The Hobbit. It's just, it's that simple for a lot of different reasons, but it's because it's The Hobbit. I don't know what else to say. So, I mean, Drew, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, that was probably like the second fantasy book I read in my life. So, or maybe I think I read that Return of the King and then The Hobbit. So, yeah, I got to go with The Hobbit. To introduce, we got to keep kids reading fantasy. I mean, come on.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Same with you, Steven?
Yeah, we got to keep The Hobbit alive, especially after those just god-awful movies. And don't get me wrong, the Lord of the Rings movies are some of my favorite movies. I love the books too, but those movies were rough, so I don't want kids going forward thinking, oh, this is the only version of The Hobbit that's out there. So
I think that's a good
point.
point.
That book alive.
All right. So now we're going with the next round, which is Steven knows where I'm going to go with this because this is one of my favorite books of all time. Are we going with either The Cat in the Hat or The Giving Tree by the wonderful Mr. Silverstein?
It's the band Silverstein, actually.
The man.
One emo kid just went, yeah!
It's not even close for me. We can talk about that later, but not only is The Giving Tree one of my favorite books, for the two people who are recording with me currently, if you look into your screen, you can see a painting of The Giving Tree that my wife made me, because I love it on a lot of different levels. It's super meaningful, and I'm a softie, and I cry every time I read it. So that's for me. Steven, where are you going?
Well, The Giving Tree, it might take the award for the most depressing children's book ever written.
It's beautiful, though, man. Oh.
Is it? Or is it just
beautiful.
The saddest thing that I've ever read? It's like watching Mufasa die over.
It's about
and over
unconditional
and
love,
over
man.
again.
It's so
It's
beautiful.
a piece of dystopian fiction.
It is a piece of. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm choosing The Giving Tree.
Okay, good. I was going to be really sad.
So sad.
So how about you? Were you going to go Cat and Hat, or are you going to do Giving Tree as well?
I think this is a trick question. Is this here's the next question. Are you a bad person or a good person? So I'm saying The Giving Tree. I'm not getting into this.
You all passed the test. Good. For me, look, we don't have to let The Giving Tree win, but I just need to at least get through one round.
But Chris is going to try.
No.
Next round, you're going the way of Shiloh, Giving Tree.
All right, so now Once again, you thought the bear bracket was over? No, my friends. We've got one more, the double bear bracket. Are you ready? So now,
Sure.
Are we going with the Berenstain Bears, or are we doing brown bear, what did you see? And that, if you remember, brown bear is like one of the first, it's like the iconic storybook, and that it's just an amazing, I feel like I hope everyone gets a chance at some point or another to, as a child, have that read to them, because it's just really great. So, out of Brown Bear or Berenstain Bears, I love them both, but I'm actually going to surprise myself. I thought I was going to go the other way. I'm actually going to stay with the Berenstain Bears. I'm surprised. I thought I was going to go with Brown Bear, but what can I say? All right, Drew, how about you?
This was easy for me because one of my favorite listeners to my podcast, his screen name is Brown Bear, and a lot of my friends are bears. So I got to go with Brown Bear.
I mean, it's a great choice. It really is. All right, Steven, you're the deciding.
I don't like being the deciding factor.
Well, you didn't like Berenstain Bears, did you? So I feel like
But
this
here's
is
the
easier.
thing. Brown Bear has made no impression on me. At least in this fresh
Really?
hell you've created where the Berenstain Bears exist.
Really?
I mean, I'm gonna go with Berenstain Bears. I'm sorry,
Wow. Yo, that's the first upset. That's the first real upset. Who would have thought that? But okay. Berenstain Bears. We're now going to the last one. And Steven, I have unintentionally made this your personal hell. Because this is two of your favorite books. Is it The Outsiders or If You Give a Mouse a Cookie? What a horrible... that's specifically for you, a very difficult...
I just want to let everybody know that, books? Chris, you're a son of a bitch.
I'll be honest with you. I didn't even intend to make it that way. All of a sudden I went, oh, God, that's not good.
Yeah, that's not good.
If You Give a Mouse a Cookie
y'all go.
or The Outsiders. All right, I'll go ahead and go first.
I want you to take this burden from me, so the two of y'all have to. If y'all disagree, then I'll have to choose.
Drew, you're going to be the last one because we're going to make him decide. Or whatever I say, Drew, you do the other. Okay.
I'll go next.
All right, so I'll go and say for me, both are great, but I'm going to go with Pony Boy again because Pony Boy has the name Pony Boy, and he has a brother named Soda Pop. So now, Drew, you can just say If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, so Steven has to decide, right?
Well, yeah, I think you need a book that introduces humor to children, and so I have to go with Give a Mouse a Cookie.
All right,
so kids
Steven,
can learn jokes.
It's up to you, and know that I've actually flown in the authors of both books, so they're sitting here with me now, and they're waiting for your response. This might be the hardest decision for you. You have to pick one, though.
This is my nightmare.
And we've got a lot more. We have to keep going through this. Luckily, we're getting close, but you have to decide.
If You Give a Mouse a Cookie.
I thought you were going to go with that. All right.
It's my favorite children's book ever.
All right.
I have a first edition that somebody, not that it's like rare or old, but that somebody gave me in college for Christmas because they knew how much I loved it. So I have to, yeah.
Y'all, so now we're getting to the heavy hitters. We're down to, I think, 8, So the Elite 8. Are we going Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone or Goodnight Moon?
Harry Potter. I'm still going to roll with Harry Potter. I love Goodnight Moon, but Harry Potter, yeah.
Yeah, blast that moon with a wand. Get Hermione over here. Get rid of that moon.
Say goodbye, moon. Oh, that's really funny. All right. Okay. So the next up is, are we going, let me find this. Are we going Green Eggs and Ham or Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe?
Ooh.
They're very different. I'll go ahead and cast my vote first. I'm going Green Eggs and Ham. Both of them are great. I don't know. I just feel like it's less meaningful than Lion, Witch, and Wardrobe, but I just feel like it left a longer lasting impression.
Yeah,
so that's mine.
Green Eggs and Ham has a better fighting chance against Harry Potter in the final round too. Not that it matters. But yeah, Green Eggs and Ham for me too. So.
All right. Is that the same for you, or are you going to go the other way?
No, it's green eggs and ham. Like we took out one Seuss. We got to keep Seuss alive now.
That's true. All right, so now we're getting into, oh man, this is a hard one. Oh my God, this sucks. This sucks. Are we doing The Hobbit or The Giving Tree? Dang it. I know what's going to happen too. And I can't blame it.
Well, Chris, I think we know where you're going.
Well, y'all go ahead.
I think if it's a question of good people, Frodo's good, so you can still vote for Frodo and not feel like a bad person. So, or Bilbo. Well, it's Bilbo with no ring versus Bilbo with yeah. You got to go with the Hobbit. I mean, I do. Mm-hmm. But I'm a bad person.
To me.
Well, no. Let me go and let me say something. I love The Giving Tree, but if I'm thinking from a children's book that has a longer lasting impact, I can even acknowledge that I think The Hobbit deserves to pass through.
Wow.
And that's hard. That's very hard because I love it, but I want to be as objective as I can, because that's what everyone here who listens to this podcast requires of me. Full objectivity all the time. So I'll go ahead and let it pass because I just think it has a longer lasting impression. So now
okay. Well, I won't vote then.
Well, what were you going to? You were going to say The Hobbit.
I think I was going to say The Giving Tree.
Really? Well, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, but I'm still.
I like crying.
I think just. I know I'm trying to be rational here, and I feel like most people would agree with that one. So, all right. So now this one's going to probably be pretty easy unless we try and make this Steven's personal nightmare. And are we going the Berenstain Bears, which is the Cinderella story, or are we going with If You Give a Mouse a Cookie? So, Steven, I
will fight both of you if you tell me that the Berenstain Bears are better than If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. I think that makes perfectly clear where I stand.
All right, well, so I'm going to go ahead and just let you know, I would vote for the Berenstain Bears. And so I'm going to make this a little bit maybe harder, maybe not harder for Drew. Hold on.
I'm getting a message in. 1 second. Oh,
okay.
It's just a text that came through. It says crime babies killed all the Berenstain Bears. So
oh, no.
Yes!
They're now bloodstained bears. So let's give that mouse a cookie.
So
the bloodstained
sad.
Bears is a very darker tale.
So sad. All right, I thought you were going to break his heart, which I was really excited about. But
thank you for not.
All right, so we're now down to the final four, y'all. Are you ready? We're almost there.
No.
This is getting difficult. This is the heavy hitters. So, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, or Green Eggs and Ham. Both children's book. It's emotional, but I think I know where I'm going to go. Do y'all know where you're going?
I think we know where we're all going to go.
Harry Potter, right?
Yeah, it's Harry Potter.
Yeah, it needs to at least get to the final round. It's not my favorite one of the books, but it needs to at least...
I like how Drew's like, I wasn't going to say that.
it deserves at least that much.
Yeah,
so
I don't think there's... Yeah.
Are we doing If You Give a Mouse a Cookie or The Hobbit?
Oh, boy.
Are we going...
I see where this is going.
Are we going... the final round's going to be fantasy versus fantasy, or are we going... or I don't know, are we just going to go mouse with a cookie versus boy with a scar on his head?
If You Give a Mouse a Cookie is my ride or die, I'm going with that one.
Is Berenstain Bears still in it? No, I'm joking. All right, so all right, Drew, how about you?
Yeah, I got to think about it from like if we were like if this was an actual recommendation engine and we were pushing things to the top. I think Give a Mouse a Cookie would balance, because fantasy versus fantasy just feels like
wow.
I mean, like
yes.
Yeah, I want to keep it. I want to keep the brackets balanced.
Wow, interesting. Because I would have gone The Hobbit. So
also the crime babies recruited Gollum, and they killed all the the whole Shire's gone. Bad news.
Jeez,
no one
that's
likes
really
that.
unfortunate.
Yeah,
All right, so this comes down to the vicious battle, and that is, and to remind everyone. We're not saying Harry Potter is a series. We're specifically saying this book. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, or If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, for the championship, for what we're saying for our March Sadness or book madness, whatever we want to call. Let's start with Drew as our guest. Which one are you going with?
Cookius Patronum Vaniscius. Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. All right, Steven, where are you going?
No, you go. I know what you're going to pick. Take it away from me.
No, you have to pick. You don't know what
I
I'm going to
hate
pick.
you. I've come this
Go with your
far
heart.
with it.
Go with your heart.
And if we're voting based on which one is the best, like, children's book, and we're voting on Sorcerer's Stone, the thing is, and I'm in the minority here, I know that, I liked Chamber of Secrets better than Sorcerer's Stone. And I think that the books got progressively better as they went on. So, for that reason, I'm going with the first book in the series that was already a masterpiece, which is If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. And
So
all the Harry Potter fans' heads just exploded.
So it's down to
including
me.
my wife.
True ride or die, man.
So
Crybabies love that. The
Yeah,
It
crybabies
hurt
love
me.
that.
I mean, trust me, there's Harry Potter stuff all over my house. Like, it hurt me, but I gotta go
So
for it.
it's down to me. And Steven, I think you're going to be surprised. Just joking, Harry Potter.
No, I'm not.
Of course, not even close. Not even close. I mean, fine. It's a mouse with a cookie. Whoop-de-doo. I don't care. I want a boy with a wand, and I want to hear his stories.
Do you?
Yep. That's not even close. So, as I expected, the heavy favorite. It was. It had a few somewhat difficult moments. Not really. But Harry Potter just ran away with it, and that is your 2018 children's book winner. Congratulations, gentlemen. We got through that in pretty good time too.
I don't know if Harry Potter ran away with it, though. It was 2-1, so...
That is true.
It
That is
was
true.
2-1. Now, granted, it almost wasn't. I was almost like, it's Harry Potter. But I wanted to be a little different.
Well, congratulations.
Somewhere,
Harry Potter.
JK's like, in her plush area somewhere, eating... She's like, wait a second. Something feels off. There's a disturbance in the magic. And she's like, anyway, let me go back to spending some cash here.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I'm over here thinking that if you give a mouse a cookie, you could take on Harry Potter. And somewhere, I guess you could say, JK was rolling with laughter.
Oh. Let me keep the puns going.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No,
I didn't mean to.
I'm sure that JK is probably in this moment thinking, I've never felt validated by my work until what these three motivational boys have done for me today. So you're welcome, J.K. Rowling. You would have felt like a disappointment and failure without us. So
Wow. I don't believe that, ma'am. Don't you listen to him.
Clearly it's a joke. Our small opinions will not at all validate the wise warrior woman that is her.
She's very litigious. She is a queen, and I will
gosh.
not dare speak ill of her even as a joke.
She's gonna sue us. Okay, so
Joke's
now
on her. We got nothing.
All right. So we finished that. Now we're moving on to a game. Drew, are you ready to play?
Yeah, I can't wait for this.
All right. So this is a game that we. It's been a little while since we played, but it's a game that I call The Price is What? And what that means is I have found some very strange items on the internet, and that were sold or are currently being sold, one of the two. And you're going to have to both guess, Price is Right style, what you think the price is, and it's the closest wins. Except for it's not Price is Right style because you can't do $1 if you think someone went over. It's whoever's closest. So I want you to truly
going over doesn't matter, correct?
Okay. Yeah, good
going over-
clarification.
does not matter. So it's only Price is What in the sense that, or Price is Right in the sense that I stole part of his name.
There you go.
So the first one, we're going to start nice and simple with the time that William Shatner sold his kidney stone. It's as simple as that. How much do you think that it went for? Stephen, we'll let you start off.
Is he personally selling the kidney stone?
He sold his kidney stone.
Okay.
Not because he was like
Via
bankrupt,
eBay?
but it was something like that. It was for like a charity.
Okay.
Oh, it's for a charity. That okay.
Yeah. I was gonna make sure to let you know that beforehand.
$29,000.
All right, 29,000. So, Drew, what are you thinking? 20 under, over? What are you thinking?
Originally, my first was like $2,600, but that was before you said charity. So now I'm like,
charity.
If I was buying a kidney stone on the open market for, a Shatner, that's what I'd value it at. But for a charity, I'd say I'm going to go with $14,000.
It's very interesting because the price is $25,000.
Oh!
But here's what's interesting. So, Stephen, you did win, but when they told this to me, this is what's weird about this. So I'm going to give it to you, Stephen, but it was actually sold in England for 14,000 euros.
Oh.
So that's a very difficult one that I reluctantly have to give to Stephen, only because we were.
But he was almost right. He was like $1,000 off, right?
Yeah, but you had 14,000. It was just of euros. That's why I was like, oh man, that was close. But here's some fun things that it was. He sold it for a charity to an online casino is the one that ended up buying it. They were raising money for like a housing charity. The operation was said to have been excruciatingly painful, and the auction price included the surgical stent, a string that was used to permit passage of the stone.
Oh my God.
And here's my favorite part. This is a quote straight from Shatner. The stone was so big, you'd want to wear it on your finger. You wouldn't. And then he said, if you subjected it to extreme heat, it might turn out to be a diamond. What is he talking about? I think they got him to quote that immediately after the procedure, so he was on some type of medication.
Kirk.
But $25,000, y'all. I can't. It's insane that's what it costs. But Stephen, congratulations, you got the first point. But don't worry.
I don't even want it now.
Yeah, you can wear it on your finger. Congratulations, you get it.
No.
All right, so here's the next one, and I'm quite excited about this one.
I'm not anymore.
This one is a wall decal, so don't worry, it's not anything too crazy.
Says you.
Yeah, but it's a wall decal, like a large. I'm about to explain. It's 24 inches tall, 21 inches wide, so it's a pretty big wall decal. So it's like what, 2-3 feet, somewhere in that range. But the wall decal is of an image of a grandmother using an inhaler. I will show you the picture, and it will be in our show notes for everyone to see later. But you have to guess the price before I show you of this wall decal that's, almost 3 feet tall or something, or 2 feet tall, of a grandmother using an inhaler. Steven, you want to guess what the price of this was?
$7.95.
$7.95. Okay. All right, Drew, what are you thinking?
I mean, I would buy it, but for $7.95, I would buy it. Like, if I looked at it, there's a huge mural in Oakland of a grandmother with vinyl records. That's really cool. So it kind of depends on the look, but I'm gonna have to guess $24.95.
Actual retail price.
Actual retail price. I have to tell you, one of you were less than $3 off. Drew, you were less than $3 off. It was $27.17. And now I'm going to send you a link that y'all get a wonderful chance to select for yourself to see this beautiful inhaler grandma.
Too expensive.
I want to.
Yeah, it's. I promise, it's not scary. It's just very interesting. My favorite part about this, as you're looking, is most people know the big, large wall decals for the company that's called Fatheads. This is their competition made by Wall Monkeys.
Okay, that is unsettling.
It's an actual picture. For some reason, I was picturing like some sort of like painting.
No, not a painting. It's like a stock photo. For some reason, there's a large wall decal of just a 2-foot grandmother. I
can't X out of it.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Everyone.
It's spreading.
Spreading. Oh, I don't know.
It's a virus. There's grandmas everywhere.
I will make sure to put that on our show notes so people can go and look at it for themselves. But it's just important to know that people are spending $27 for that, and I don't understand why. But with that, we're tied. So this is great. This is coming down to the end. And once again, This is a charity item. that was sold.
Okay.
Okay?
$2
So
million.
this was for Pharrell's huge Canadian Mountie hat. Do you know what I'm talking about? The large brown Mountie looking hat.
Well, that's priceless.
So it was sold for charity. It was sold, I think, back in like 2015 or something like that. Something like that. So it was sold for a charity. It was, let's see here. Yeah, it was just sold for a charity. I won't tell you anything else besides that right now. But any guesses how much it went for? Stephen, once again, you have to start off for a guess.
$173,000.
Wow, what a confident! It was great. So $170,000.
Well, that's what I would pay for it.
$1,000. All right, Drew. I guess the real question is: do you think that hat sold for more or less than $170,000?
I mean, that's like what 5, 4, 7, or 8 Shatner stones. So
yeah.
I would value
about 3,000 grandma wall decals.
Man, 175, 170. Let's see. Oof.
You got to go with what your gut is. What do you think?
I might have to go high. I'll have to take a risk to get it. 250,000. All
right. Well, and let me be clear. If anyone's thinking they're listening the first time, they're like, "Man, that's crazy." In previous episodes and games we've played, Stephen, what was it at our live show? I found one that was an
imaginary friend. Someone sold an imaginary friend for $1 million.
No. That was $100,000. Someone sold a stone that looked like a foot for $1 million.
For $1 million.
So people spend crazy amounts of money. You're going to be surprised that it only went for $44,000.
That was a good investment. That was a great investment.
Yeah,
that's a steal.
The iconic hat for something like that. I cannot believe it only went for $44,000. Well, guess who bought it?
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
No, the restaurant chain Arby's, because they said you stole our look, Pharrell, so we wanted to take it back. And they
hold on, I got to send a text. Crime babies.
Yeah, they need to go
into Arby's headquarters and take Pharrell's hat. Okay.
Yeah. So
make Arby's pay.
We have the hat. That's what their new slogan is. But yeah, so it went for $44,100. So Pharrell was quite happy. It was for a wonderful charity, and we're glad they spent that. But man, I thought they would have spent more. So that was a close battle, but. Stephen, congratulations! You did win this round or this game of The Price Is What.
I needed that after my To Give a Mouse a Cookie debacle.
It's okay. Yeah, I guess you did need that. So now we're even. We're good. And so Hey, how was that for your first game? Did you like some of the things you found, Drew?
I love Price is Right. So participating at Price is Right in any manner is like is a dream come true.
Even if there's kidney stones
involved. I love Price is
involved.
Right. That was no Price is Right.
Oh, fine. I'll end it for you. Remember, kids, to have your dogs and cats spayed and neutered. There we go. We did it.
Well, spayed or neutered. Spayed and neutered.
Oh,
that's a lot of trauma for one animal.
That seems unnecessary. Just pick one or the other. Sorry, I'll stop talking. Where are we going, Stephen?
Well, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more Is This Adulting? Hey everybody, best friend number 1 Stephen Pappas here, stopping by with your weekly podcast recommendation. This week I have a question for you. Do you like dogs? Who doesn't like dogs? Everybody likes dogs. They're so floofy and wonderful and sweet. Well, I have a show for you, and it's called Can I Pet Your Dog? And it's on the Maximum Fun Network. Every Tuesday, dog owner Allegra Ringo and dog wanter Renee Culver talk to guests about their dogs, discuss dogs they met that week, and brief you on dog news. They go on assignment to dog events and report back with what you need to know. If there's a dog, they're gonna pet it. This show is wonderful, it's hilarious, it's heartwarming. I mean, I love dogs, and hearing their guests talk about their dogs, and I mean, they've had guests all the way from Travis McElroy and Teresa McElroy. They've had Lin-Manuel Miranda on there, Jonathan Van Ness, who we talked about when we talked about Queer Eye. They just have amazing guests. It's an amazing show. Definitely check it out. You can find them in Apple Podcasts or any podcatcher, or you can go to cipyd.com. Thanks. Back to the show. All right, we are back, and we're going to get into our last topic. So our last topic is Drew's topic. And Drew, when I emailed you and we started kind of talking about what you wanted to talk about, I really liked what you came back with, which was, I guess the easiest way to sum it up is nighttime.
Yeah.
Is that a good way to sum it up? Why don't you kind of tell everybody what we're going to talk about?
Well, I was just thinking with like being an overthinker and having a lot of anxiety and depression, and the experience I've had through making a podcast for people that can't sleep. You know, there's a lot of different reasons why people can't sleep, and you know, I can't relate to all the different reasons, but when I can't sleep, it's just a strange, isolating thing. Even when you're not sleeping alone, is when you turn out the lights and everything quiets down. And then you feel that little poking on your shoulders, and it's not the motivation boys. It's like
wish it was
the demotivation boys.
Oh.
And it's like, hey, you remember this? And it's like, why? Where do these thoughts even come from, and why do they wait until just when you fall asleep?
Right.
And then the bafflingness of insomnia and not being able to sleep layered on top of that. It's just sucks, I guess. That's why I make my show.
Yeah. I'm curious, you know, as we're kind of talking about this, how long did you experience those struggles before you started making the show?
I mean, my whole life, so I started having insomnia really bad when I was in 5th and 6th grade. I was having a lot of trouble at school. Like, I had dyslexia, but it wasn't diagnosed. The school I had was small. And so I was just labeled a problem student, and the teachers, I constantly was getting these report cards that said, has the ability, lacks the effort, or is lazy or willful. And so at some point, right around 5th grade, I started to view it as like an us versus them situation. It was like the authority figures and me, and I was on my own. And so there's just a lot of battles and, I mean, nowadays you'd call it abuse, what was happening, but back then it was just like discipline, they called it. And so I couldn't sleep. Like, I would be like constantly worried about the next day at school, constantly thinking about if I could just behave, or if I could just predict what the teachers are going to get upset about, or not pick a fight or whatever with the teachers, like, I'll get through the next day. And so I just spend the whole night thinking about it, and I couldn't sleep because of it. And I'm the oldest of 6 kids, and my parents, I think they wanted to help, but they only had so much bandwidth, and they were always like, oh, just go to bed, like, just drink some milk, just think about something nice. And so I'd lie there in my room, and it's just this really lonely feeling that kind of I've carried with me on and off through adulthood. Yeah.
You know, for me, insomnia is something that came to me very late in my life. Sometimes it would take a while for me to get to sleep, but then I'd be able to sleep and I'd be fine. And then for a good portion of my life, a lot of my friends or my wife or my family would be frustrated with me because it was so easy to go to sleep. And when I started having my own struggles with anxiety and depression, it was the first time that I was introduced to a struggle that I knew so many people faced that I had never encountered before. And it was such a humbling and sad reality of being like, I mean, the way you described it as isolating is the best way to describe it, because I feel so often throughout the day, time flies by, right? But there's something about the night that it just crawls in a way that it's just so unexplainable. And I know for me, I go into this weird cycle of anxious about something, so that's what's kept me awake, to then thinking about still being awake and realizing I'm going to be exhausted, which is going to make me even worse for the next day. And that makes me anxious about being awake.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I take 1 hour per problem, or per thing I'm anxious about. And it's just something that so many people deal with. And and I'm really, I promise, I hope you know I'm not trying to either make you uncomfortable or pamper to you, but that was one of the things I was really, really grateful for with your podcast. And I know a lot of people have told you this, but when I first started really, really struggling, I knew other people dealt with it, but I didn't really know. And your podcast opened me up to a world of realizing that I'm not alone in that. And that's something that we talk a lot about on the show, about the freedom that comes when you realize you're not alone in struggling with something. And I was really, it was just really meaningful for me to realize that it's not just me out there that's dealing with this, and we're going to try and find ways to make it easier. And sometimes it works, and not specifically your podcast. Sometimes in general, I'm able to actually go sleep, and then some nights I still really struggle. But I think that's the thing that is what's so difficult about the late night, is it feels so lonely, and it's so that's why I love your show, because it reminds you that that's not the case. You don't need to be alone, you know?
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I think that's an important thing, like with your show or the Bright Sessions are two shows I think of, like, of the normalizing things, of saying, hey, these struggles we have with panic attacks or anxiety or trauma, whether it's a fictional version or a real version, it does make you feel like, oh, wait a second, I'm not the only person that has those thoughts, or I'm not the only person that can't get out of bed and I don't know why, or I can't fall asleep and I don't know why, or that's overcome in the middle of the day, like, or that doesn't feel like, I don't know. I think our culture is so built on this idea that it turns out it's not true, of like, oh, just pull yourself up by your bootstraps and you can overcome this, and just rub some salt on that. And that's just not true. And that's like creates this pressure that people feel like they have to operate under. And when you can hear these messages, like the two of you are brave enough to share, it is a little pressure valve, and it lets some of the air out and says, oh, wait a second, I'm not alone. Like, there isn't something wrong with me or that needs to be fixed. I mean, maybe we're on a journey of healing, but I don't know, carrying the shame that it's like, oh, everybody else out there is an adult and knows what they're doing and has their act together. What's wrong with me that I don't have? It's like, oh, no, wait, I'm not the only one. And you start to realize that the people that are struggling are actually, a lot of times you're like, oh wait, not only can I relate to them, but they're like really interesting people and really cool. And I share all these other things, not just the struggles, but the things you're passionate about and interested in. You know, or like, yeah, you're like, man, I don't know, Harry Potter or the cookie, you know, so it's like, yeah, I think it's important to constantly be reminded that as much as it can feel like we're alone, whether it's during the night or during the day, that that other people might be able to relate to what we're struggling with.
Yeah.
I feel as though I've kind of become, in these later topics, like I sit back.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, listen, and then I interject. Like I'm very. I don't know if I'm just like contemplating my feelings and the things I want to say.
Sure.
So sorry I don't jump in as immediately as I probably should.
It's okay. I mean,
I just kind of weigh what I'm thinking. Yeah, I think for me, sleep has always been difficult. It's been something that has not come easily. Just never has. And it got really bad for me in high school, starting in like mid-high school when I had mono. And I was up all night and slept all day. And ever since then, night just became this thing. And at one point in my life, for a long time, I embraced it, of just, it was a space that I lived in. And I was more comfortable at night than I was during the day. I was more comfortable being awake at night and having my eyes open and being able to see and hear the things around me than shutting my eyes off when it's dark outside and not knowing what's around me. And so I had a lot of trouble with sleep for a long time. And it, you know, it's gotten to the point that the anxieties and the stuff that keep me awake, I have to like be really intense with the way I deal with them, because I can't deal with them like a normal human could. And it's something I talk to my therapist a lot about. You know, I've mentioned it on the show before. For me, one of the big things that helps me focus on sleeping, as weird as that sounds, is I have to have my own space. And so for me, there's more anxiety and more pressure when I'm sleeping and my wife's already asleep. And then I start to snowball of, oh, I'm not asleep. Okay, why am I not asleep? Okay, well, I'm not going to sleep tonight. And then
or you're afraid to turn.
3 hours.
You know what I'm saying? You're afraid that, like, oh God, that's the worst. Oh, Lord.
I'm scared I'm going to wake them up. And it's just one of those, like, so it snowballed for me to the point that, we've been married 3 years. I mostly sleep on the couch on my own so that I have my own space to be able to process. And that's because of my anxiety, not because our marriage is on the rocks or anything. It's just I have to be able to have that space. And so for me, getting that space was one step, but then all of a sudden, especially in the last year, I've had a lot of trouble sleeping. And it's getting to sleep. Now, once I'm asleep, I tend to sleep through the night. But it's overcoming that first hurdle. It's getting actually to sleep. And I know for me, it is just one of those, like, as soon as I lay down and I go, okay, cool, time for bed. And I've always slept with the TV on. And part of that is just my attention span and my anxiety. It helps me to have another track going. I've also used your podcast for that. Like, it's something else that helps my brain shut down. Because I don't know about y'all, but when I lay down, I close my eyes and I go, and immediately, oh God, what have I got to do tomorrow? Okay, well, I've got to sit there and I've got to edit tomorrow. So I've got to make sure I got all the files right. Oh God, did they send me that file in WAV format? Okay, I need to edit this. And then all of a sudden it spirals. I'm like, oh, I'm stressing too much. Oh God, I'm putting too much stress on my body. Oh no, my heart, I'm having a heart attack. Oh God. And before you know it, I'm starting to, like, hyperventilate.
Yep.
Because all I tried to do was go to sleep. But all of a sudden I can't stop my brain. And so it's tough and it's scary and it's frustrating. I think frustrating is the number one emotion I feel. Because as much as it's like, I'm scared right now, or this makes me not feel good, or I'm tired, at the end of the day, the main thing I feel is I'm frustrated. Because I'm like, why can't I sleep? What is wrong with me that I can't sleep? And so that's why I do love, and I know it sounds like we're doing this like it's an ad for you, and we're not, but I do love things like your show, because it's like, okay, here's something else. And there's another show, so it doesn't sound like I'm just plugging you. There's another show I used to use, and it's not focused on sleeping, but it always relaxed me. It's a show called Nocturne.
Oh, I love that show.
I love Nocturne. I think Vanessa Lowe does it. And it's a show. It's 15 to 30 minute episodes, and it's about nighttime. And so she interviews people who work third shift or who have experienced things in the night. Some are kind of creepy, like some of the stuff, but a lot of it's just like the people of the night. And there's something about the show that relaxes me. And so I'll listen to it before I go to bed. And then if I absolutely can't sleep, all of a sudden I put on your show, or I put on a YouTube channel. I put on a YouTube channel and just try to conk out. And, it probably still takes me an hour or so, but eventually it works. So it's just a matter of, how do you shut down that anxiety? How do you quiet that voice? And I think, that's the $100 million question. I think if we could all figure that out, we'd all be super rich.
Well, and something that, one thing I always really like, I'm a person that processes by talking with other people. And it's something I've never thought about until just now, because I talked about how it took this past vacation of me sleeping a lot for like 5 or 6 days before I was able to start thinking about things I hadn't done in a while. I wonder if some of the reason why we process at night is because we don't give ourselves space during the day to think. And I think that's one of the reasons why we talked about earlier with like journaling, why that's so therapeutic. I literally never thought about it until this moment. Like, during vacation, I was sitting there and had nothing to do, and it's the first time in a while I had nothing to do, and I'm sitting there and I'm just thinking about things, and I'm like, when's the last time I reflected? And I wonder if that's kind of when we force ourselves to sit down or lay down, and that's when our brain's like, finally, I get a chance to think about all the things that we've been needing to process. And I wonder if, as you said earlier, Drew, if we start carving out a little space to just thinking. I'm not saying by any means that will solve everything, but I just wonder if that's an example of listening to our body that we're not doing on a regular basis. Yeah,
I think there's 2 points in there like that I agree with. Is like, one is, for me, if I want to have like an 80% chance of getting a good night's sleep, having some kind of routine that involves like winding down and creating that like does help, and that does work. But yeah, the other thing is that's what it's like for me. Is like during the day, I feel like I'm outrunning something, these negative thoughts or whatever, and I spend the whole day a lot of times just trying to outrun those thoughts or stay one step ahead of disaster. And then when I get in bed, and I have this I've never looked up what the scientific or psychological side of this is, but even if I can get to sleep, my anxiety will carry over into my dreams. Like last night, because I've been journaling. And I'll just have these repetitive dreams, like you said, about editing or about file naming or show notes. And it'll be hours and hours of me just doing this repetitive task over and over again that I'm worried about or some other thing. And then I wake up and I'm exhausted, and then I can't get back to sleep because I'm wound up. And then it's like that whole thought. It's like, what the hell's wrong with me? Why can't I why can't I just close my eyes and go to sleep? And then you start to get frustrated. Like Stephen said, it's like, and then it's like, should I get out of bed? Should I stay in bed? Should I read a book? Should I go do something? Should I go for a walk? Should I drink some milk? Should I just tough it out? Maybe if I just lie here for 15 more minutes. Maybe if I just think about this. Maybe if I just move my pillows. And that's kind of why I designed my podcast, was just to offer a distraction to intervene. Because what happened when I was a kid and I couldn't sleep is I didn't have that intervention. I didn't have anything to interrupt my thoughts until this kid in my class told me about this show, this radio show that was on. It was only on Sunday nights at 9:00, but it was called the Dr. Demento Show, and it was this comedy radio show. And I started listening to it, and it never put me to sleep, but it just made me feel less alone, and it took my mind off of all of those thoughts. And I had like 2 hours, like you're saying with Nocturne, where I could go into another world and look around or hear another story. And I don't know, it added a little bit of levity, or at least escape from those painful thoughts. And I guess that's one of the things I'm trying to achieve with my show. Or sometimes like I'll listen to stuff before I go to bed, like podcasts, to kind of set the stage and be like, okay, now I'm starting to wind down and enjoy something instead of dreading going to bed. Yeah.
It's something that, I feel like this could be 40 different conversations that I want to have, and we want you to come back on at some point so we can have other ones. But I think what you were saying earlier has rung so true for me, of just sometimes having a voice there makes you not feel alone when you can't go to sleep. But it's amazing how sometimes just having a voice there is what gives you the ability to go to sleep. It's that just comfort of, that for me, I can't stand just silence. That's why I need like a white noise or something. It's almost, it is almost like quicksand to me in some ways. Of like, it makes me significantly more anxious. I feel like I'm get stuck and I get trapped in this weird thing. And so that's I found your show, and then I started finding ASMR, which for some people it's awkward, and for other people I've really enjoyed it. I also do meditation sometimes, or things like that. I mix it up. Sometimes it's music. Sometimes it's just to try and keep this. I feel really bad. I have a few podcasts that I listen to that are not intended for you to fall asleep to. And I feel really bad, but I give them downloads for the sole purpose of they are so boring and I care so little about what they had to say. Like one is like it's like a random sports podcast for a sport that I don't listen to, or one's like a random like business podcast that I don't care. It's like, just tell me more about accounting and I will fall asleep. But hey, they're giving a gift in a different way.
I used to. That was one of the things that inspired me for my show. Was like a long time ago, Rick Steves had this podcast. This was early on, and the podcast itself was really good. Listening to Rick Steves kind of talk about travel, but then he had the second segment was call in, And so people would call in and they would like literally talk for like 15 minutes. Like, Rick, I mean, I don't know if I should have an anorak or a poncho. And then I'm wondering like if my backpack, like do they call them backpacks in Germany? And they would ask, and I would take a nap. I'd listen to the first half of the podcast and then I would take a nap during the call-in section because it was so meandering. And they'd be,
that's so funny.
What kind of shoelaces would you recommend for a trip to Italy? Because the shoelaces I had when I went to Malta were just, they didn't, and it's like, okay, what? So like,
I want to know more about that person. the real debate they're having is between shoelaces.
Yeah.
But no, that's awesome, and I hope that he knows that his listeners helped you in a different way.
Yeah.
Now you're just gonna dream about shoelaces and have nightmares about that, though.
Is that not something you do all the time? Because I know I do.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
All right. Well, we're going to start winding it down, but if you'd like to send us a topic for discussion or a mental health check-in, like I said earlier, we are not professionals, but you can send that to us over at isthisadultingpod@gmail.com.
You can also follow us over on anywhere on our social media. Twitter, our handle is @istthis_adulting. You can find us on our Facebook page, or more importantly, the thing that we really encourage people to do is check out our what we call the best friend group. It's where people that listen or even don't listen to the show provide a space on the internet where it's safe, where you're encouraging each other, where you're able to vent when you're struggling, you're anxious. Maybe it's the middle of the night. I know there have been times before where someone's at 3 a.m. like, hey, is anyone up? Especially when we have international listeners, so people are in different parts of the country or world, so there's always someone that can be there. The real thing that is important is we just want you to be a part of it, because more important than the show is being able to find a place where you can feel a part of something, a part of a family. And that's called the Is This Adulting Best Friends. If you have any trouble finding that, please just go to our website. It's isthisadultingpod.com, and then you can find it from there. If you don't find it, go to sleepwithmepod. No, I'm just or sleepwithme.com or whatever I accidentally sent to people earlier. And then while you're there, on our website, you can see our show notes from like our games we played in the past or this time. If you want to see that crazy inhaler grandma wall decal, you can also find our merch. You can find out ways to get in touch with us, or if you just want to join the movement, because we're trying to break a stigma, and that stigma is around mental health, that you're the only one that struggles, and that's not the case. We all do. Please just be a part of that in any way that you can. And finally, just the way that we grow as a community is by subscribing to this podcast, by reviewing it, giving it a rating, whatever you can do to help kind of share the message that we're trying to get across.
Absolutely. Drew, thanks so much for coming on the show, man. It's always fun to talk to you.
Thanks. Yeah. Hopefully I see you guys in person sooner than a year, but if not, it'll be a year. But maybe anytime. It's a pleasure to come on, and it was just good hanging out with you in person, both of you.
It was awesome. And seriously, go listen to a show if you struggle at all. There's
even
certain,
if you don't.
I mean, there's certain episodes, man. Like, I love all of them, but like, there's certain episodes that I'll just save that are particularly just the way you both wrote them and just spoke them are like, man, it is amazing. I go to it. I almost sent you a message, and I'm sorry, I'm distracting us but I almost sent you a message because one night I was really struggling getting to sleep, and the reason why was for a different reason, and that's because I was on a trip somewhere, and I was stuck under right under a really, really cold air conditioning. And I was shivering myself awake every 30 minutes or every 30 to 50 minutes. And so I used your episode, the same episode, to help me go to sleep for 30 to 50 minutes before I shivered myself back awake when you had stopped talking. So you literally are the only reason why I got sleep that one night. And I almost said, thank you. So yeah, please listen to a show.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to remind everybody where they can find you in the show?
Sleepwithmepodcast.com, or just search for Sleep With Me in your podcast apps. That's probably the best way to listen.
Oh, that's funny.
Awesome. Well, that's going to do it for us here on Is This Adulting this week. I've been your best friend, Steven.
I've been your best friend, Chris.
And I'm your new best friend, Drew.
And remember, kids, be happy, stay healthy, and go hug someone.
Because you never know. they may be currently holding William Shatner's kidney. And so you need to hug them. Actually,
His
no,
whole
don't
kidney?
hug. Run. Run. Do the second option. Run from them because they're holding William Shatner's kidney that they spent a lot of money on.
Could have been
Well,
the
if they're
crime
holding
babies.
his kidney,
The crime babies.
They
Oh
stole
my
his
God.
kidney.
They're back
yeah, if
again.
they're holding his kidney, like, we need to call authorities. Like, his kidney stone, I could understand, but if they're holding the entire kidney, I'm very, very concerned.
Oh, oops.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I said kidney. I didn't say kidney stone, did I?
You crime babies got to go to bed without dinner. You can't steal kidneys.
They're straight up harvesting organs. The crime babies. They have.
Oh, it's taken a dark turn.
with their tidy whities on their head. Just
It's
if
taken
you see
a
them, run, people. That's what's important. All right.
Oh, my gosh.
Bye.
Have a good week. Is This Adulting is part of the Orbital Jigsaw Podcast Network. You can find our show, as well as others, at orbitaljigsaw.com. You can also find all of our merch at orbitaljigsaw.com/store. We are almost entirely listener supported, so if you like what you hear, please consider clicking the Support the Show tab on our website, isthisadultingpod.com. We have tons of cool rewards, exclusive content, coloring sheets, Mad Libs, you name it, and much more that you'll receive in return for your support on Patreon. Thanks for all you do, and we'll see you next week.